Right. Hi, everyone. I'm here today with Michele Rivera, um, a runner and a mom. And Michele, let me start by asking you, how did you get into running?
Oh man, that's a kind of a big story right there. So I actually tried running a few times before I actually started running. When I tried running in the past, I just did it all wrong. But yeah, like one day I was talking to my Zumba instructor and I wanted to lose weight, baby weight from having my daughter. And it was 8 years after having her. So it's not like newly like baby weight. So I asked her about running, and she was actually the one that inspired me to start. And she just said, look up Chi running on YouTube. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it, pronouncing it right, but CHI running. And I looked it up and I didn't realize there was a specific way to run until I saw the video, and I was like, oh, I've been doing it all wrong all my whole life, ever since I was in high school when I started writing. So it was actually really enlightening to see. But I tried what the YouTube video said to do, and yeah, like I realized I was running the wrong, the whole time, and um, downloaded C25K app and just literally hit the ground running. Like I just started signing up for races thereafter, and it kept becoming more addicting the more races I did. So I just kept pushing the distances from literally 5K, 10K, then half marathon. Then I was like, let's sign up for a marathon and just see what happens. So that's kind of how it started.
Nice.
Yeah.
And which marathon did you do? Did you do Chicago?
I did. My first marathon was Chicago Marathon in 2014.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any races that you're really looking forward to when things get back to normal?
Oh man, yes. Like I actually had a half marathon. I registered for this May, and it was of course canceled. And I was actually looking forward to that because I haven't ran or raced a half marathon for a very long time. But what am I looking forward to? So I'm also a triathlete, and I also had a half Ironman registered for this August, and that was also canceled. So yeah, like I don't know, like I know both races are deferred to 21. Thankfully, they're letting us defer the races with no additional costs or anything. So I'm looking forward to those two races for now. But in the long run, I do want to do Dopey again in 23. Actually, when Deer did it, I did it the same year as her. So I'm kind of timing it with their anniversary years, and a bunch of friends are, hoping to sign up for 2023 for that again.
Nice. And do you prefer to run with people, or some runners like to run with a group and other runners are more like it's my clear out my mind time? Which category do you fall into?
You know what? I fall into both actually. For my short runs, I prefer to just get it over and done with. Like during the week, I just literally like set a time for myself to do that and just to get it over and done with. The longer runs, especially for marathon training, I like it when I sign up, when I, talk to friends and say, okay, I'll meet you at Bussy, because it keeps me accountable. It helps me wake up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday. It makes it a little bit easier knowing that you're not by yourself waking up at the crack of dawn. So yeah, like I like both. Like I enjoy both, Sometimes I also like my own music. So, yeah.
And what kind of, when you do listen to music, what kind of music do you like to have while you're running?
For the most part, I like songs so I have a Spotify playlist that's 180 beats per minute.
Okay.
So that my cadence is right on target. I like to run on the downbeats with the cadence, so it keeps my cadence pretty high. But yeah, like most of the songs that I listen to are pretty upbeat. But there are some times when I kind of like to zen out and just listen to like yoga music, which is kind of odd. But yeah, that's like few and far between.
Mhm. Um, and do you do anything for, are you just strictly a runner, or do you do other things as well? Do you do some cross training?
Oh my God, I wish I did cross training. But, I mean, cross training in terms of like lifting weights and whatnot. I,
Anything
I,
else? Yeah,
I
cross training could be anything other than running that's part of your routine.
I mean, I like to swim, bike, and run. So I'm a runner first and foremost, and then I became a triathlete because I learned how to swim. And then once I discovered the world of triathlon, I got addicted because I liked having cross training with biking and swimming. So yeah, so I actually did more triathlon the last couple of years versus running. But I mean, I still ran. I had to run for my triathlon. So, whatchamacallit. So like, did I answer your question? I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but yeah, I like to bike and swim,
Mhm.
as well as run, I guess. Yeah.
And did you learn to swim as an adult?
I did. I
Wow.
did. My husband surprise signed me up for my first triathlon, which I was so mad at him for doing that because I didn't know how to swim when he signed me up. So I had to quickly learn. My first triathlon was also the Chicago Triathlon. So because of that, I had to quickly learn, and it's possible. Obviously, I survived. But yeah, adult onset everything. Adult onset swimmer and adult onset runner.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
And what would you say, if somebody finds out you're a runner and they tell you, I'm thinking about trying it, what advice would you give them?
The number one thing that the misconception that I had with running, because I thought like when I first started, I thought I just run. You just run. Do your research, like look up chi running. Chi running has literally changed my life because I didn't realize there was such a thing until I watched it. And like I said, I realized that I was doing it all wrong. So that's one, there's proper way. Number two would be get fitted for shoes.
Yeah.
You can't just wear whatever tennis shoes or gym shoes that you have in the closet that's been laying around for years. Like, do not do that. Like, invest in a good pair of shoes, and as well as a good pair of socks. Socks are very expensive. Okay, coming from like a non-runner, I was like $15 for socks. I didn't realize how important they were
Mhm.
until I became a runner. And yeah, like those three things. And then also my number one is running is not running as fast as you can. Like that's actually what I thought it was, and that's incorrect. You actually want to be able to talk while running, which it took me a while to really understand that. But in the beginning, like as a runner, like it's okay to walk and run. Like the C2 5K app actually gets you started really well because it introduces your body and mental like state to start slow and until your body gets acclimated. Because it's gonna hurt. Like if you've never ran before, everything will hurt. Especially if you go from like 0 to 60 right away. So I highly recommend following a beginner app to get you started slowly. Otherwise, you're just going to get discouraged. And actually, I think that's exactly what happened to me the first several times I tried becoming a runner because I did it all wrong. Like no one was guiding me. And finally, when I decided to actually try it again, that's when I was like, okay, I can't be doing this by myself and like just going out there and running. Like, I don't even know how many miles I would run like right off like day one. That's a mistake. So, number one thing, just start slow and enjoy it.
Couch to 5K is such a great program. It's how I started too.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like it's really like, and it's something to look forward to. Like you look at it and you're like, oh my God, I ran for 60 seconds today. You're like, that was such a milestone for me, you know? So I was like, oh my God, that was, yeah. So I highly recommend it too.
Mhm. Do you remember the time when you first looked in the mirror and said, yeah, I'm a runner?
I think it was when I finished my first 5K, which
Mhm.
was the hot chocolate 5K in
Mhm.
Chicago. That was my very, very first race. And, you know, like leading up to that, I was doing the Couch to 5K and I was like really nervous. Like it was such a big deal for me, like for this 5K. And for some people, it might be just a 5K. But for me, I was like, oh my God, like, you know, I don't want to walk. I want to I want to run the whole 5K. Like that was a big deal for me.
Mhm.
So when I finished that, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm a runner. Like I actually bought running clothes and bought more than one sock. You know, like I invested in myself and I knew I just wanted to keep going after that.
Mhm. What has running brought to your life other than just the fitness aspect?
Me time. Like I, you know, leading up to starting to run, like I really didn't set aside time for myself. Like, you know, I became a mom, and then just all my focus was towards my daughter, and just self-care just was just not there, you know, until I started running. And it really, like it's actually opposite of what you think. You would think that, you know, adding a workout or adding running to your life would make you tired
Mhm.
to do everything else. So like taking care of myself helped me take care of everyone else around me. So, you know, I only have one daughter, so it's just my daughter and my husband and just, you know, like it's just I just had more energy to for everyone else, you know, which was like mind blowing to me when all of that was happening. And at the same time, like just seeing myself become fitter and stronger, like that was just motivation for me too, you know? So yeah, it was life changing. Like, honestly, like I never considered myself really an athlete. Like my majority of my adult life, I did do like a little bit of, what do you call it? Palms, palms, and what did I do? Softball in high school. But after high school, it kind of stopped. Like, you know, I focused on studies and really it just stopped. And then 2014 was when it started again. Yeah.
Before a race, do you have a routine that you follow the night before a race?
Yeah, you know, I started actually my Instagram
Hmm.
like to document my whole running and fitness journey. And I saw other runners do like their flat runners. So I was like, oh, I want to do that. It was kind of cute, like planning your outfit. And, you know, I'm such a girly girl that I really like dressing up for the races. And so, yeah, that's one of the things I enjoy doing is a flat runner, preparing for the race. And then, of course, that like as I learned more about running and like endurance training and stuff like that, like I have more, I guess, like carb loading.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big can of worms too.
Yeah.
So before I used to use carbs as fuel to run. But as of a couple of years ago, I went ketogenic.
Okay.
So I started using fat
Hmm.
to use as fuel for my runs. So yeah, like I guess like with that, like I started preparing my body like in that manner, like
Okay.
leading up to the race. Yeah. Hmm.
And so how old's your daughter now?
14.
Oh, okay. Now,
Yeah.
does she run?
No, 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 she doesn't. I know, unfortunately. So I have, yeah, but we did do a virtual Disney 5K together. My daughter is special needs. So, you know, when she did her 5K, so me and my husband did the 5K with her just around the neighborhood and we got the Mickey 5K medals. So we did that with her. So that was really, really fun.
How fun. Is there anything that you wanted to add about running and life in general?
Life in general, oh man, if you ever, if any of your listeners have ever even like thought about wanting to run or anything endurance training, like even cycling, actually cycling is actually my number one right now. It's actually, I enjoy it so much more than running. If there's ever even any like curiosity, like follow it,
Mhm.
like just go for it, because you're never too old. I started running, I'm going to share my age now. I started running at 41,
Okay.
at 47. So like, it's like really changed my life in such a positive manner. You're never too old, like, to start anything. Like just start it, as long as you know you have the tools to get started. And like I said, those three things that I mentioned earlier, like, got me off the ground. And I just kept going and sign up for races, because races keep you accountable, and it's just so much fun, and you meet so many new people and other runners that love to do it too. So yeah, like, I think you're just never too old to try anything. And I think also, like, during this pandemic, like, it's given all of us a chance. I mean, yes, like, it's so stressful right now with the whole world and unrest and whatnot. But I think it's, if you look at it in a positive manner, like, I think, it's given us a extra time to like do other things that we would have never thought of. For me anyway, I feel like it just opened up like other doors, and I think it's a good opportunity to do it, and to try it out.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. It was great to hear your story, and it was really nice to meet you. Uh,
Yeah, thank you for having me. I had fun.
Thanks.